Hi, this is Jeff from Welch Family Homestead. Welcome to my channel, and I'm so excited about the subject today because the subject today is something that is very dear to me because I love carrots. I don't know about you, but I especially love rainbow carrots. And as you know, I grow organic, and there's nothing harder to do than to get your carrots to germinate and to sprout. And once you do get them sprouted, you want to make sure your dirt's great and everything else is on track. And the first thing I'd like to do today in the first part of this video is to show you how to germinate your carrot seeds to get them started out and get that head start before you put them in the garden or put them in the larger vessels that you're going to grow them in. And obviously there's a learning curve here. I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, but this by far is the best method of germinating and sprouting your carrots. So the seeds for carrots are extremely small. So to be able to plant these seeds, you have to be very careful. You don't want them right on top of each other. So there's going to be a certain method that I'll show you how to do that without messing up. You'll love this method because this method is going to give you that edge to be able to actually get your carrots started, and you won't have the empty spots in your garden rows or in your containers because you know that every one of these seeds that come up is what you're transplanting. The first thing you want to make sure of is that your dirt is healthy. Now I'm using an organic compost soil, and the organic compost soil that I'm using is definitely something that is going to help get these carrots off to a good start. Now, one of the things you want to be careful with when you're using organic compost is has it gone through its composting stage? So if it's still composting, if it's still breaking down the organic matter, it's not going to do well for your vegetables. You need to make sure that it's last year's compost, could be even the year before last compost, but you don't want it to be too fresh because if it is, there's going to be too much nitrogen and too much other activity going on. The soil is going to get too hot, and it's not going to be good for the germination of your seeds, even though you want your soil warm during the germination of your seeds. You don't want them to be overly hot. And the first stage that I'm going to do in planting these seeds, instead of planting them in individual pods, which I'm not going to do, I'm going to show you a quick way to get your sprouts started. So just fill you up a paper plate. Paper plate works great. You don't need much soil. Get rid of all the big chunks of your compost soil. If you want to put some Pure Light in it, you're welcome to do so. It still will be organic. This is organic. You can see I've just placed it out very evenly. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to put your seeds in here and then water them. And the reason for that is because these seeds are so small and so light. If I were to put the seeds on this first and then water it, what's going to happen is it's going to move those seeds around, and it's going to push those seeds together, and all those seeds are going to go into little puddles together. We don't want that to happen. But at the same time, we don't want to put a lot of moisture in it because we're going to protect it. Now, this is just some rainwater that I collected. I'm just going to put a little bit of moisture into the soil, and I'll mix it up just a little bit to make sure it's evenly dispersed, as you can see. Now, as I've done this dirt is fairly moist. I mean, it's very moist, but it's perfect for what we are about to do. Now I'm going to tap that down a little bit because this is the layer that basically is giving the moisture to the seeds. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these seeds. I don't have to be very careful. I can always thin them out. But I'm going to sprinkle the carrot seeds, and these are rainbow carrots, organic rainbow carrots. I'm not going to put a lot on this plate. That's 150 carrots. Now, this soil already being wet is perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tamp it in. Now, my hands are already wet, and my dirt that's still on my fingers are going to pick up a little bit of that seed, but it's fine. We're going to be culling some of these anyway because we're obviously going to choose the best sprouts of them all. But the first thing I want to do after I put the moist soil down is I'm going to lightly sprinkle some dry soil on top of it. You're going to love this method because I will tell you it is going to give you the best results, and you're going to get a head start on all the other methods that are out there, because all the other methods that are out there, you're going to have a lot higher mortality rate of your seeds. You're going to have a lot better germination with this method. Now, I'm not through. The next thing I have is some clean white paper towels. These are napkins, clean. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wet these towels, these napkins, with the rainwater. This, like I say, is an amazing method. And all I'm doing now is I'm going to place a couple of these over top of the dry soil. Now, so we have moisture above, moisture below, and this is just the germination process. This does not have to be complicated. This right here is just a bag from the grocery store. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it in here. I'm going to place it inside the bag. We're going to tie it up. And we're done. Now, germination for your carrot seeds is usually going to take somewhere between 5 to 10 or 11 days. It could take longer. But with this method here, usually what I'm seeing is somewhere around 5 or 6 or 7 days. First of all, let me talk to you about where to store this while you're germinating your seeds in this method. I don't want to leave it out in the sun. Now, this is mid-March. Even though we still have a lot of cold days left, still have several frosts that we can expect between now and the middle of April. And that's fine. I'm okay with that, because if I know there's going to be a cold frost, even after these have germinated and I've transferred them to the other pods, or even if it's during this moment that I'm trying to germinate it, which I've checked the weather, we shouldn't have any freezing weather. I'm going to make sure that I protect that. If I need to bring that container or even the smaller pods inside where I'm starting, or put them in a greenhouse type setting, I'm going to do that. So you need to protect your small, young, tender plants as they're coming up. But the one thing that I want to tell you as a warning, do not do this section of the process in the sun. Find an area where the sun lights an area up, but yet it doesn't get direct sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this underneath one of my barn shed roofs, and I have some boards that I'm going to lay it on, and I'm going to keep a check on it, because I know it doesn't get direct sun there, but yet it does stay lit throughout the day. And I know it will be protected from any animals that may be down low that may be coming by the barn. So I look forward to seeing you on the rest of this video. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be storing these seeds as they germinate. The sun comes up behind me here in the morning, in the east, and it goes down over here. My hands are dirty. Look at my hands. Wow. And potting soil, organic, compost. I am branded. I'm branded. So the sun comes up back behind me. Sun goes down over here. But as it goes down over the mountain. And as it goes down over the mountain, it's starting to cool off. Direct sun will never hit this. It will never hit this, because by the time it comes up, the roof above me, which here it is going to block that sun. And then it doesn't get hot. It's going to actually be just perfect. And if it does get cold, too cold, I will bring it inside. Now I'll have several trays here, several plates, paper plates, done the exact same way. And I'll come back and check in about 5 to 7 days, open it up and just see if we have any sprouts, because I'm excited about these heirloom rainbow carrots. I love carrots, and I love carrots that have taste. And a lot of the carrots that are out there today are grown so fast and with so many chemicals and not organically. They're just basically empty. They don't have the nutrition or the taste that these carrots will have. These carrots are going to taste so good, whether they're cooked, whether they're fresh and raw in a salad, or even cooked into a stew. It doesn't matter. They're going to taste out of this world. And they're not only going to taste good, they're not all going to be orange like a typical carrot. They're going to be all different colors, and that's going to make the plate look amazing. Amazing. So anyway, you can tell I'm excited about these organic heirloom carrots, rainbow carrots. On the first part of the video, we talked about how to put the seeds into the dirt. And we did this with these paper plates, and we'll show these to you. Now they have been through it. They've gone through some wind. The plates were blown off. Some of the dirt is underneath the plates. Some of it's in the right place. But I'm surprised. I got some great sprouts from these rainbow carrots. We've had some crazy weather. If the weather had stayed up in the 60s, 70s, we would have maybe gone through germination somewhere in about the 6th day. But because we've had some cool nights, we've had some cool days, we've had a lot of wind, it has been crazy weather. This is the 11th day, but we have success, and we're going to enjoy this video together. So now what I have here to plant this in is the same exact soil, the compost, that is potting soil. I want good soft soil to grow this in. Now I'm going to put these carrots in boxes like this. And the reason I'm putting them in boxes like this, because I don't have a greenhouse, number one. Number two, I want some of my carrots in the garden in rows. Some of these seeds, as I have sprouted them, will go into the garden. Some of them will go into these containers here. And the rainbow carrots, most of them will go in these containers. Now, obviously you need drainage. You don't want water puddling up or not having a way to breathe or to be able to get out of the bottom. So I took a drill and I drilled holes into the bottom of this box. And yes, it's still windy. That's why I shifted over to this side of the barn to do this part of the video. Very windy. We've been having gusts of 30, 40, and 50 miles per hour winds, and we've been having to deal with the damage. But it's that time of year. It's springtime now. And what kind of topsoil or what kind of compost do I use? The best potting soil I've been able to find that's easy to find is Miracle Grow. And this is the organic version, the performance organic version. This does not have any chemicals in it, chemical free, great for the non-GMO organic growers like you and I. And this is good for raised bed gardening as well. Now you see I've already got this much dirt in here. I'm going to put some more compost in here to get the depth that I want. because I want some beautiful carrots. And one of the ways that you're going to get beautiful carrots is have good loose potting soil. You can mix sand in with it if you wish. You can also make your own compost. I do that as well. Now, I'm going to put it about this depth from here down. Why? Because some of these carrots are going to be wanting to grow longer than others. What you want to make sure is when you're growing your carrots, you need to have the right expectations. If you're growing your carrots in the soil in the garden, and you have rocks in your garden, or you have other hard clumps of dirt, those carrots are roots. They're root vegetables. So they're going to go down into the soil, they're going to hit a hard surface, and they're going to go around it, or it's going to stump them and make them a short carrot. By growing them in this type of soil that is loose, I'm going to keep it moist, but at the same time, it's loose. It's not going to pack tight. It's compost. Again, I could mix sand in with it. You could as well. Sand, if I mix sand in with it, I would suggest using river sand, coarse sand, not fine sand. Fine sand will wash down through it, make its way to the bottom. You want to use coarse sand if you mix it in with your potting soil. This is good raised bed soil. That's exactly what I'm using. Compost type material, so that we have a good environment for the carrots to grow in. Now, you don't want to put any fertilizer in your soil when you're growing carrots. Not good. If you put fertilizer in at this point, what's going to happen is you're going to have real plush carrot tops, but you're going to have very low yield on your carrots itself. I wouldn't suggest putting any fertilizer on it at all. None whatsoever. If you have good compost or good raised bed soil, that's all they need, and carrots will grow just fine. And you don't have to plant them that far apart, and I'll show you here in just a moment. Now, I had this one here blew off of my area where I had them stored. You've seen where I stored them underneath one of my barn sheds of the barn here, and I had some pieces of cherry wood that were laying up high. I wanted to make sure it didn't get direct sun. I did not want them to cook as they germinated. Now, it's good for carrot seeds to have that moist environment. That's why I put them in these grocery bags, to be able to hold that moisture in. I haven't watered them in the 11 days that they've been in that environment. Out of these 4 plates, it's going to take about 8 to 10 of these containers to plant carrots, every 2 inches apart. And I'll have a good yield of carrots, and it's just going to be great. One of the things you need to be aware of when you're planting heirloom rainbow carrots, when it's rainbow carrots, the white carrots, the orange carrots, the red carrots, the purple carrots, all of them are from a different breed. They're different. So you're going to have different sizes of carrots. Each carrot is going to mature at a different time. Now, from the time I put it into this container, I will start getting carrots from this to put into the salads, to put into the food on the plate in about 80 to 90 days. Now that can vary. So as you get to that point, what you want to do is you want to kind of lightly dig around the bottom of the tops of the carrot plants, look at the carrot and see if it's mature enough, and pull those, and then that gives more air for the rest of them as you start pulling them, and then the rest of them will catch up. So let's get to planting some carrot sprouts now that we're at this stage in our carrot production. I usually take my knife and I'm going to make a hole about every 2 inches apart. Okay, now you don't have to be real meticulous at this. You just want to plant them about 2 inches apart. You know, if they're 1.5 to 3, you're going to be fine. It's fine. Don't be too nervous about it or stressed out about it. The carrots can grow right up against each other, but we want them to have enough space to have some beauty about them once we have harvested them. Look at that sprout. This is the part that's going to be above the ground. This is the carrot that's already growing below the ground. These are very healthy sprouts. The germination process did very well. I'm very happy with the process, and we're going to place these down in the soil. Like I say, we don't need to fertilize this at all, but we are growing it organically. And we're going to be very satisfied with our harvest and our yield once we are about 80, 90 days away, which I'm excited, 80 or 90 days away. So about 3 months from now, we will be harvesting these rainbow carrots and enjoying their bounty. Okay, so right in here, I just planted about 16 carrots in a very short period of time. I've got to plant the rest of these. As you can see, there's lots and lots of sprouts. There's probably about 100 sprouts in each one of these plates. I'm going to have probably somewhere around 1,500 carrots this year of the rainbow carrots, and we'll definitely use them. And the ones that we don't, the beauty of that is we can be picking these. We can leave them in the dirt if we want to and pick them all the way through the winter. And also we can also pick them and can them. There's different ways to preserve them, including that they are very, very good about staying fresh and long-term in the cellar. So very happy with the germination process of the rainbow carrots. Thank you for joining me here today at Welch Family Homestead. I look forward to showing you on one of my next videos how awesome these rainbow carrots are in some of the most amazing dishes. So anyway, visit some of my other videos as well, and like and subscribe. It helps the channel out so much, and we're only here to help you, to do everything we possibly can to help you along your journey as you learn how to homestead and to grow your own food. Thank you so much for joining us here on Welch Family Homestead.